Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here. If it's your first time, please consider subscribing. If you've been here before, don't forget to subscribe, like, share and comment. Today we'll be learning how to make three different types of circle skirts: the 180 degrees, the 360 degrees and the 720 degrees flare. Let's get started. So we'll be making the circle skirts, and we're going to be making the three types of circle skirts today. We'll be making the 180 degrees, the 360 degrees and the 720 degrees. The 180 degrees flare is also known as the half circle flare. The 360 degrees flare is also known as the full circle flare, while the 720 degrees flare is double full circle flare. So before we start now, we need two important measurements. We need the skirt waist and the skirt length. This is for a little girl. So our skirt waist is 21. We're adding 2 inches as our zipper allowance. And then the skirt length is 13. And we're adding 1 inch as the seam allowance, which brings us to 14 inches. Now, I'll be showing us some of the measurements we need. We're starting with the 180 degrees flare. For this, we'll be using the skirt waist that we wrote, 23, and dividing it by 3.142. This gives us 7.3. 7.3 is the waist measurement that we need to cut out. Remember, the length of the skirt is 14 inches. So we are going to be doing 7.3 plus 14 inches for us to know the amount of fabric we need. So like I said, for the 180 degrees flare, we're doing 7.3 plus the skirt length, which is 14 inches. That gives us 21.3. So that's to know the fabric we'll put on fold. So I'm going to measure this fabric and be sure I have 21.7, and then across I'm measuring the same 21.7. So this is what I want to do. I put it on fold and measure it. Now that's the perfect measurement. That is 21.5. I folded it in half. Now the next thing is to fold it across like a triangle. This way. That's what we need to do. And then we are cutting out our waist measurement from here. Remember, our waist measurement that we need to cut out is 7.3. So we're going to be marking from this pointed edge 7.3. We keep marking 7.3, 7.3. We need to join this together. That's the skirt waist. And remember, the entire length 21.3. So we're going here 21.3. You can mark it as many times as possible, so just make it easy for you to connect your dots, and then we'll be cutting out. This is what we have so far, and then we'll cut this out as our 180 degrees flare. This is our 180 degrees flare skirt done. This is what it looks like when we open it out. And then when we open it completely, it looks like half of a circle. This is why it's called the half circle skirt. Next up, we'll be moving to the 360 degrees flare. which is the full circle skirt. We are still using our waist measurement of 23, but this time we are dividing it by 6.28, and this gives us 3.6 as the radius for the waist that we are cutting out. Like we did the first time, we are going to be doing 3.6 plus the skirt length of 14 for us to know the length we are cutting out. 14 plus 3.6 will give us 17.6. Now, please pay close attention, because this is the major difference between the 180 and the 360 degrees flare. The folding is the major difference. So this time around, we are folding in half, and we are taking our measurements 17.6. Yes, 17.6. I have 18 inches on fold, 18.5 inches on fold. This is on fold. Please note it is on fold. And then I'm going to be folding again, taking the same measurements and folding again. I need to measure that I have 17.6. Yes, I have 18 inches. So this one, we folded it 4 times, but in a square form, not in a triangular form. The second fold is not triangular, it's actually in a square. That means we folded it 1 and then folded it again. So now, from this closed edge, we are going to be taking our radius of 3.6. 3.6 here. And we'll connect it like we did in the first one. And then we are taking our skirt length, which is 17.6 in this case. 17.6 across the entire fabric. And now we'll connect our dots. Then we'll be cutting this out. Let's open this up and see what we have. So this is half of our skirt opened up. When we open the full skirt, this is what we have. That is why it's called a full circle skirt. So if I'm to hold this up, you will notice that the fullness of this skirt is more, the fullness of this skirt is fuller than the first skirt. This is our 360 degrees full circle skirt. Let me show us again our 180 degrees skirt. This is what our 180 degrees looks like. Next, we're moving to the 720 degrees flare. Also the double full flare, you know, is double of the 360. Now the trick to getting this is, remember our skirt waist was 23. First of all, we want to divide our skirt waist into 2, which gives us 11.5. Now we'll now be cutting 2 different circles using this 11.5 as the waist for each of them. So we'll be cutting 2 different full circles using our 11.5 as the waist measurement. So like we calculated, we are going to be doing 11.5 divided by 6.28, which gives us 1.83. I have approximated this to 2 inches because in this case, we are cutting 2 circles, so we need some seam allowance to join the 2 circles together. So we're approximating our radius to 2. So let's get started. Remember, 2 inches will now be 2 plus the length of the skirt, which is 14 inches, will give us 16. So we'll put our fabric on fold. And we'll take the measurement. Yes, I have 15 inches here. So I'm folding again. This is one fold. Then I'm folding again. (16 inches). And then I'm going to be cutting out my radius on this. This is what we need to do as usual. Measure your radius. This time around we are measuring only 2 inches across, 2 inches from the corner, the close edge, 2 inches, and then the skirt length 16, 16, and we're cutting out. Remember, we are cutting out 2 of this to make our 720 degrees flare. So I get my second fabric and fold it the same way, in half, the same measurements, and fold it again. And I'm measuring my 16 inches. I can just place the very first one I cut out this on it and cut out exactly the same thing. Yes, so I'm going to be cutting out exactly the same thing. Next, I'm cutting out this radius that we measured initially. And this is what we have. We have 2 of this. I'm going to be opening this side because we need to join it together with the other one. So on the other one as well, I'll be opening one side. I'll just pin this together for us to see. We'll be pinning the open sides together, which is what we'll be sewing on the sewing machine. I'll just pin it up to show us what it will look like. Pinning it on both sides. Doing the same for this second side. Yes, and this is our 720 degrees flare skirt all done. I'll be lifting it up for us to see. Can we see that this has far more fullness than it did as in the case of the, you can see we have far more fullness because it's double the 360 degrees. This will give us more fullness. This is the 720 degrees flare, and that's the difference. Thanks for watching. Remember, we did the 720 degrees flare, which is this double very full skirt, and we also did the circle skirt. This is our 360 degrees, and then we did the 180 degrees. They have entirely different fullness. Thanks for watching. If it's your first time, please don't forget to subscribe. If this video helped you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. See you next time. Bye.